Oh my gosh, guys, they're giving us a Star Wars Voldemort game. Voldemort was actually around during the High Republic era. And there's like 10 of him. And then one coming out of the black goo at the end. What is this? I'm sure you're as confused as I am. It's real! There's a new Star Wars game in development at Quantic Dream, and it looks incredible. Wait, hold up though. What? Aren't Quantic Dream the studio that literally sued journalists for reporting on the company's harassment issues? And now they're making a game with Disney, the most PG family-friendly company out there. Welcome to capitalism, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I'm gonna go through everything we know about Star Wars Eclipse. Even though it's super early days and this is just a CGI trailer, the idea behind this game looks really promising.
Hi players, this is John Boyega.
And this is Star Wars Drumming Simulator. Hey everyone, it's Andrew. Alright, so what actually is this game? You guys confused? It's weird, right? There's so many random characters and locations in this trailer, it's tough to tell whether this is a new Star Wars game or a music video for Voldemort's new drum band.
Television redefined.
Thanks, Obi. Set in the High Republic era, the game will mix action gameplay and an intricate branching narrative to create a unique and epic experience. So you're going to be playing as multiple characters and will have a huge say in how events in the game play out. Player choice seems to be a big part of this game's interactive narrative. So unlike a game like Jedi Fallen Order where you're just playing out a linear story and not actually making any decisions, the decisions you make in Star Wars Eclipse will influence the game's narrative. What happens in the galaxy, where the characters live or die, you know, stuff like that. You're in control to a certain extent. And based on what they're promising, this kind of thing has never really been done before on this scale, especially in the Star Wars galaxy. You're going to be traveling to multiple planets across the galaxy, exploring, meeting exotic creatures, and so much more. But that's still kind of unclear, right? Like, what the heck does this mean? What is this game? Am I right? Will the game be similar to Quantic Dream's other games like Detroit Become Human, Beyond Two Souls, and Heavy Rain? Because Quantic Dream games are quite unique. There's nothing really like them out there. They're kind of weird and, you know, writing's not always great, I've heard. They have a certain feel to them and aren't so focused on action game mechanics. You know, it's not like a shooter, it's not really an adventure, exploring, platforming, nothing like that. It's more about the story and the mechanics that are involved in that, and the story-making decisions, the investigation, decision-making. And it seems like this game is going to be some of that. Good old David Cage is going to be involved. So Star Wars Eclipse is the first video game to be set in an uncharted region of the Outer Rim during the High Republic era, which is known as the Golden Age of the Jedi. So the game is set in the Outer Rim, but it looks like you'll be traveling all over the place. I mean, we've got Yoda standing in the council chambers. Good old Yoda, say g'day. He's what, like 400 years old here, maybe? 400 or 500? How big a role could our little green friend play? Can I make decisions as Yoda? That seems kind of unlikely because it talks about original characters you'll be playing as, but the game will build upon Quantic Dream's expertise in delivering deeply branching narratives and will go beyond their already established acclaim, so they say. Player choice is going to be at the heart of the experience. Every decision can have a dramatic impact on the course of the story, which I'm going to talk a bit about more later because that raises some issues as to like, how can this be canon? Okay, so they're saying the game's going to be crafted by a diverse team of writers, game creators, interactive storytelling experts. There, what a job title. Can you imagine calling yourself that on your resume? LinkedIn page. What's your role? I'm an interactive storytelling expert. Come on, man. All with a deep affinity for the Star Wars franchise, Star Wars Eclipse will feature new places to explore through untold stories with unique characters, each with their own path, abilities, and roles to play. So this is interesting. I feel like perhaps one character will be a Jedi, another one's going to be some kind of bandit. Maybe you'll get to play as one of these dudes in this Voldemort empire. Who knows? But it's going to be multiple characters with different abilities. Also, in Detroit Become Human, you got to play as 3 different androids, and it seems like Star Wars Eclipse will be similar in that there's not, you know, just the one main protagonist. You know, it's GTA style, you get to bounce up into the clouds, have a look around, jump down, suddenly Trevor's doing something really weird and inappropriate. And it also seems like the decisions you make with each character will affect the other characters, which which is starting to feel a bit more like a Mass Effect game where you build relationships with certain characters, but this is on an even larger scale. The decisions you make will have consequences, both good and bad. Like if you decide to help the sand delivery people drop some sand off at the Jedi Temple, Anakin's gonna stop being your friend and instead launch a full-scale war against your homeworld. That's the kind of experience I'm looking for in this game. So what is the High Republic, you might ask? I'm sure some of you probably don't know, so I'll bring you up to speed. And this is straight out of Wikipedia. The High Republic era was a period of time that lasted for around 200 years between approximately 300 before the Battle of Yavin and 82 BBY, in which the Galactic Republic was said to be at its height. All was well in the Republic. The Jedi were thriving, they were doing great. What they call the Golden Age for the Jedi, who were significantly more active throughout the galaxy. And it was also a time of expansion and exploration in the Outer Rim territory. So the galaxy was becoming more connected with the Outer Rim, getting to know them, establishing colonies, stuff like that. This game's set in the Outer Rim, so it seems like your actions will partly be responsible for this expansion and exploration into the Outer Rim. So also, it seems to be why our little green friend is here. How you doing there, Yoda? Looks like we'll get to see some of the Jedi he trained and his earlier involvement in the Jedi Order. Also, the galaxy is mostly at peace at this time, and the Sith haven't been around for several hundred years, they've been gone. Instead, they're having to deal with Voldemort. He's cloned himself. Also, some of you might be getting the High Republic period confused with the Old Republic like I did at one stage. High Republic is set around 300 BBY, whereas the Old Republic is set at 3600 BBY, so that's basically in ancient times. Now, I know what you might be wondering. Is this game open world? Well, I'm going to go ahead and say no. Star Wars Eclipse is probably not going to be open world, though it might also not be linear. Like Jedi Fallen Order, once you unlock certain planets, you'll, be able to go back and explore them. That's one possibility. Or this game will be more like Detroit Become Human, Quantic Dream's last game, which is much more linear. You can't really go back and explore previous locations, but you can replay the story and make different decisions and experience the branching story paths which are based on your decisions. That game has something like 85 different endings. Okay, but wait. This is Star Wars. How can a Star Wars game have multiple different endings and plot points and character decisions if it's supposed to fit into the larger Star Wars narrative? How can this be canon? Well, according to the Star Wars Eclipse website, you'll get to compose an original Star Wars story with all new characters and environments. You have the power to make choices and consequences thanks to many outcomes in this deeply branching narrative. Okay, that still doesn't explain how this is canon, but perhaps in the end the same thing happens, but along the way it's different. Who knows, man? Interesting. The game lets you play as a diverse cast of charismatic characters, each with their own story, abilities, and role to play in the tapestry of events that could alter the carefully balanced peace of the Outer Rim. Diverse cast of characters seems like you'll be playing as more than just 3 then. It's going to be a lot more going on. Every decision you make may have dramatic repercussions on your journey. The way of life in the Outer Rim is being threatened, and you must define your path. It seems like, Voldemort, these guys here with the drums, and they're worshipping the Eclipse, summoning this beast out of the black goo. So it seems like they're the threat. There's some other conflict going on with the Trade Federation, ships, battleships flying past, a lot of stuff happening. So Star Wars Eclipse is currently in early development. It's going to be, I'm going to say, a number of years before we see this game actually released. Maybe not even till like 2025. Who knows, man? But Quantic Dream actually have 2 studios. One's in Paris, France, and the other in Montreal, Canada, and it's being published by them as well. So they're combining the efforts of both studios, which I'm pretty sure they haven't done before, because I think the Montreal studio is actually new. So 2 studios working on the one game for Lucasfilm games. Also, it seems like the budget for this thing is ridiculously huge based on the quality of the CGI trailer, the sound design, everything, the fact they're using 2 studios. I mean, Quantic Dream games usually have a huge cast of characters, and the amount of backstories and interweaving narratives are kind of absurd, but this seems to be taking that to another ridiculous level. There's so much in this trailer. Space battles with separatist battle stations, starfighters, Jedi, a lightsaber duel, Jedi training a cult of drumming Voldemorts. I might do a more in-depth breakdown of the trailer. If you'd want to see that, let me know. And also, if you have any questions about Star Wars Eclipse, I'll try to answer them in a future video. But what do you guys think of this? What are you expecting? Are you excited for this? Let me know. Also, if there are any updates on this, you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and join my Discord. I'll be posting stuff on there if I see it, when it happens, when it drops. And thanks for watching this. My name's Andrew. I'll catch you soon.
Stay bombastic.